katika nipeza kiodi songa kabisa gandisha nipeza mikogo ntagi kwa Twitter ati mapenzi bila pombe ulisikia wapi tena tuache kunywa pombe ulisikia wapi
siri yako imekuwa nini kakaangu?
Siku zote ukiwa mpambanaji alafu unafanya kitu watu wanaelewa, obvious tutapiga tu kazi.
Kuna story ya shortcut hapa nje. Lazima tu ufanye kazi ile inafaa, ujisukume kabisa, umake sure kitu inawaka. Ni sawa, acha ibaki somo na jinsi ilivyo. Unajua unaweza kuwa wewe ni mkali wao lakini kuna wakali wao kwa njia tofauti. Na uwezi shinda kivyako. So kama unakimbia na unaona barabara mahali imefika kuna mtu uwezi ruka peke yako, unarudi nyuma unashikwa mkono unasaidiwa kuruka. Hiyo ndo namaanisha.
The Kenya Medical Training College will hold its 90th graduation ceremony on December 2nd, 2021. Adorning graduation gown will be optional, and graduates wishing to get one can visit KMTC headquarters in Nairobi from 15th to 29th November 2021. KMTC, training for better health.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali imewekeza vilivyo katika sekta ya kilimo ili kuongeza uzalishaji chakula na pia kulinda mapato ya wakulima. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
My administration is currently reforming the sector by increasing output and productivity, boosting incomes in agribusiness, and ensuring household resilience and food security.
Alikuwa sisi na njaa, lakini wakati Uhuru alikuja sisi nasema asante kwa sababu ya hii mtu anapatia maji ya irrigation.
Tunalima mchele na inatusaidia. Tunaweza kusomesha watoto, tunaweza kukaa kama mkulima anakaa kama mfanyabiashara mwingine. Hatuna tofauti sana. Sasa maisha tunaona maisha sasa ni mepesi.
This is who won.
In the fine areas, I want to issue out a challenge to the Contra unit where we accept. But it's going to be 4-on-4. Let me introduce you to a man, a pit fighter who has fought in the slums of Singapore.
Come out clean before I do.
What do you think is to blame for how things are right now in your marriage? That ought to be on silent.
Sorry. Can we do this next time? Maybe later today?
That will be next to impossible since you have to disclose everything in the court of law.
Wakili, why am I hiring you?
Class, I hope you've given her a warm welcome. This is Magdalene Chepkoech. She's our new student.
They have mwalimu hata wamenitengenezea simu.
Kinyanju, are you sure you know all those things?
Who do you think you are talking to? Kinyanju's online shop will bring it to her.
Julia, you cannot believe what just happened.
What?
Imagine the selfie I posted 30 minutes ago. It has now 9 likes. 9.
Tito Mjuanjuku nasikiza, there's something called protocol. Respect it.
Do you pay school fees like the rest of us?
Of course, yes.
Then sit down like the rest of us.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
My name is Betty Kiptum. Now we start off in Kisumu County, where there was an attempted robbery at the Equity Bank. Our reporter Simon Achola is ready to give us the latest. Achola, what do you have for us?
Thank you very much, Betty Kiptum. Indeed, it has been a standoff for over an hour now as police try to gain access into Equity Bank premises, which is along the Ngawa road right in the Kisumu CBD. What has been going on for the last 1 hour or so, Betty, is the fact that it is suspected that two thugs tried to gain access into the building, which they did. And then, of course, one of them, took control of the door, and the other went straight to the bank teller, one of the bank tellers in the banking hall, and tried to force her to actually give out money. And on noticing what was actually happening, the watchman went to inquire what was happening between the bank teller and the thug. And on realizing that he might actually be overpowered, he ran out of the small cubicle that the bank teller is actually sitting, and started going upstairs, and of course hid in one of the many rooms inside the banking hall. And the other thug who was actually standing at the door of the banking hall, what he did was that you can actually hear the gunshots. So that's exactly what is happening. So we just try and take advantage position. So then we actually get to see what is happening. We can actually see that one of the fellas has actually been hit by an object. So one of the soldiers who actually just right inside who had tried to gain access into the building has actually been hit on the shoulder, but the police are still trying to access into the building, so then they can actually try to arrest the one thug who is still hidden in the building. But as I was saying, was that on realization that he actually might be overpowered, the thug who is actually still hiding himself in one of the rooms in the building went upstairs and actually hid in the room that he is in right now. And the other thing that he did that actually raised many questions was the fact that he had tear gas and actually threw tear gas at the people in the banking hall, and has also been using the same tear gas to try and the same tear gas to actually try and scare away the people who actually been the police officers who are actually trying to gain into the banking hall. The other thing, Betty, that has actually happened is that most of the staff of the bank have actually been rescued and have actually been rescued and arrested for I would say the normal procedure, where if you actually found within the area of a crime or the scene of crime, then of course they actually been treated as suspects up until that time that of course police would have done the investigation and verify that indeed they're just they're innocent, but also those who had actually come into the banking hall for business purposes to access services will also go into the police. Up until that time, the police will have verified that indeed they are innocent customers before they can actually be released. The other thing that I can also report is that a number of customers who had actually come, who actually the building at the time when the incident actually started happening, 3 of them actually fainted and they actually rushed to the police to the hospital, and of course they are being taken care of. And most of the other customers who are actually in the building at the time have also been taken to hospital and actually arrested, as I have said. The other thing is that one of the suspect who was actually standing at the door has actually been arrested, and actually he's actually in police custody. And what we are told, they were actually just 2, and they're actually having 1 gun. So we are keeping tabs of exactly what is happening here, Betty, and of course we'll be informing the viewers and listeners of exactly what is likely to happen subsequently. What I can also report is that because it was actually difficult to access the building, what happened is that they have actually called the fire brigade personnel, so that then they can actually come and try to use the hose powers in terms of the water, so that then they can actually access the building because of the tear gas that I talked about. The other thing is that they've also come with the equipment that have enabled them actually to scale the wall and gain access, gain entry into the bank, so that then they can actually try and arrest that suspect. We will be keeping tabs to get to see if indeed one of the officers has actually been shot, or what exactly happened, because the initial pictures that actually we saw there was one of the soldiers actually holding his shoulder, and we suspected that probably could actually been shot, but we've not seen any further movement, and he's actually still up there, so it means probably he had just been hit by either a blunt object or something, so he's still going on with the operation exercise. So Betty, exactly this is what is happening. We can actually see the police, the regional police commander himself, Mr. Karanja, leading this operation, and he's been telling us that he's certain that in the next few minutes they should have neutralized the situation, so that then of course normal business can actually continue on Angawa Road, which is which is actually right in the Kisumu CBD. Betty, the other thing is that the incident, as is usually the case, has actually attracted a sizable crowd, and people have actually come here and they've been milling here for the last 1 hour or so, most of them just wanting to catch a glimpse of exactly what is happening. They've been running, which is of course pretty dangerous, but you understand how members of the public can at times be difficult in terms of containing. So they've actually been here quite early when the incident just started, and they've been up and about just trying to ensure they actually get exactly what is happening. So again, they are again going inside to just try and this has been the case, Betty, that each and every time the police try to gain entry into the bank, into the bank, there are wild cheers from members of the public who are actually cheering them on, and of course once the gunshots begin, of course each and every one of us scamper for safety, as you saw just when we were starting this broadcast, and that has been the routine, that when they try to gain access, of course there'll be bullets flying all over, and then thereafter of course things will calm down. Police will try to take control of the situation as we continue. What we've actually been told is that we only have 1 thug still in the building, and we also told that he only has 1 gun, and we also told that he has a number of tear gas canisters that he's actually been using. But it has been a while now since we last saw him actually lob or throw tear gas canisters at the police. So what has been happening is that he's been shooting intermittently, probably just to scare the police or scare members of the public who actually come here as he takes his time before he's actually arrested. Police have actually done everything within their means, as we have already said, and I have seen them actually as we speak right now. They've actually just brought another equipment that will enable them to try and actually gain access into the banking hall. It's messy here, yes, and I'll just tell my colleague to actually just show what is happening. The damage has actually been here. When you look at this vehicle, just the pictures on the screen now, this is exactly what happened. This was the initial stages of this incident, when of course guns were flying all over, and everyone was trying to take control of the situation, and police were actually firing into the bank to try and arrest the suspect, and members of the public were actually running all over the place, and there was confusion. If my colleague can actually show just the pictures on the other side, the first floor of the banking hall, you can actually see also the window plates have actually been damaged, and that has been the routine. The police actually trying to get access, of course, and the thug also trying as much as he can to repulse them. But as I said, Mr. Karanja just said that it's just within a matter of minutes, and then of course they'll have neutralized him, and of course they'll take charge over exactly what is happening. Betty, so basically that is what is happening here, and we'll keep our viewers and listeners posted in a subsequent bulletin. Yeah. Yes, Betty, just before I hand it back to you, I would go again and say that this incident actually started, the attempted robbery happened at about just a few minutes to midday. We are told that two young men on a motorbike came here. One of them stood at the door, and the other one went straight into the building. And the one who went into the building went straight to the teller, one of the cashiers, to try and force the lady to actually give him money. But what happened is that the lady resisted, and what followed was a scuffle between the lady and the thug. And the people who were actually in the banking hall, noticing that something was amiss, raised alarm. And the watchman, who was actually standing right inside the building, went to inquire what exactly was happening. What followed then is that the thug came out of the teller booth and started going upstairs. And when he realized that he might actually be overpowered, what he did was that he threw tear gas canisters in the banking hall, and of course throwing everything into confusion. The other suspect was actually standing at the door, surrendered to the police officers who had actually arrived by then, and the other one has actually been hiding into one of the rooms in the bank. And as we speak right now, it's been almost over an hour as police try to neutralize the situation so that actually they take charge. The incident is happened actually along the Angawa Road, just right behind the Jomo Kenyatta sports ground here in Kisumu. And of course, the incident has attracted a sizable crowd in terms of members of the public who've actually come here to witness what is happening. The police have been doing everything within their means to try and neutralize the situation. The information we have is that the suspect who is actually holed up in the building has a gun. And we are also told that he has a number of tear gas canisters that has actually been using, that he actually initially used to create confusion in the banking hall, but also the gun that he's actually been using to repulse the police officers who are trying to gain access into the room that is actually hiding in. The Regional Police Commander, Mr. Karanja, has actually assured us that it is just a matter of time before his officers actually neutralize the suspect and, of course, take charge of the situation. I would also tell you is that apart from the one suspect who actually surrendered to the police, the other thing that has actually happened is that the staff that are actually in the building at the time have actually been rescued and have gone straight to the hospital, and then thereafter, of course, they will go straight to the police to record statements and, of course, to aid in investigation, because as is usually the case, anyone who was actually at the scene of the incident will actually have to answer, so that they'll have to actually be questioned before they can authenticate if there were abnormal customers or a suspect involved in the incident. And the other thing is that I would also report is that about 3 of the customers who were actually in the banking hall at the time fainted, of course, as a result of the tear gas canisters that actually being thrown at them, but also the gunshots that were actually being fired at the time. So they were actually taken to the hospital and they are fine, and everything is fine. Probably I will just try and see if I can get Mr. Karanja, who is the Regional Police Commander, so then he actually tell us what the situation and what is happening. I'll just try. No, he's just walked away, but I wanted to see if we can actually just get him, so that then he give us an update of exactly what is happening and where we are in terms of neutralizing the situation. I just try and yes. Let's just see. Yes. Mr. Karanja. Bwana Karanja. Kindly just tell us where we are at now.
Now we are at Equity Bank at the Kisumu City Center. Yes.
Tell us what exactly has happened and where we are at now.
We are at Equity Bank. We are on operation. Maybe you give me time so that we can clear with the bank.
The incident happened at what time?
It was around 11:30. Yeah.
11:30.
Yeah, 11:30.
We have seen the police firing firing shots in the building, but also tear gas. What is actually inside?
The police did not fire tear gas. It is the criminals who are firing tear gas to us. So we cannot fire tear gas. It is the criminals who are firing tear gas to us, and we have the sample. That tear gas is, I don't know where it comes from, but it's from somewhere. We don't have that tear gas. Yes, and we have the exhibit. Yes.
So how many thugs are still held up inside?
For now, I cannot tell you. We just want to clear so that we can give you more information.
Thank you very much.
Anyone to Wananchi who are still crowding the space?
Pardon?
Anyone to the crowd around the scene?
I just want to tell the public, kindly to take care, because we don't know whether these people are armed. Anything can happen. Maybe you tell them to clear. Yes, we're trying to tell them to go away, but they don't listen to us. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Betty, that is the regional police commander just filling us in of exactly what is happening, and of course he's rightly said that we give them time to actually neutralize the situation before he can actually give us a comprehensive details of exactly what is happening. Of course, once it is done, we'll be telling our viewers and listeners of exactly what happened here. Back to you, Betty.
Well, those are live scenes from the Equity Bank branch of the Angawa branch in Kisumu City, and that is Simon Achola just bringing us that report on the foiled robbery attempt. He has reported that a number of robbers walked into the bank and demanded cash from the cashier, who then resisted, and that is when they lobbed tear gas canisters, which the police say are not from the police coffers. They say that the canisters were lobbed, and that is when mayhem began. Even during that live link, we had a few gunshots there. The standoff is ongoing. There is one robber who is still in the Equity Bank branch, and of course we are hoping that Simon Achola and everyone in that sting operation is safe. We shall be bringing you the details a little bit later. We move on to other news. Now, are you a political leader in Mbeere South constituency, Embu County, who is inciting youths to cause chaos? Be warned, elders from the region have now threatened to curse any leader inciting youths against other leaders. Speaking at Muraru in Mbeere, the elders said some leaders have been using youth to heckle others, an act that they said they won't tolerate. They urged the residents to blacklist leaders who are misusing youth to cause chaos and tension in political gatherings. The concerns coming days after some leaders were heckled in Embu during Deputy President William Ruto's tour of the county.
Ya vijana wandogo walipewa pombe hii na pale hivyo, wakakunywa pombe wakaanza kuharibu mkutano ya deputy, na sisi kama kiongozi wa kanisa mimi sikufurahia hiyo jambo. Ni jambo niliona sio ya kufaa.
Tunauliza kama inawezekanavyo hata hiyo pombe wale wanakaa huko, yuko askari, yuko assistant chief, yuko chief, wanataka kuangalia pale ya pombe huko, inaonekana kama inakuweza kuwa mingi zaidi huko kwetu Mwea.
Unaweza enda pale popote kuitisha kula, lakini huwezi enda itisha kula na fujo na kubaia watoto pombe. Hiyo ni mbaya sana. Kwa hivyo tunaomba hata serikali iingilie kati ya wale watu wanabaia watu wengine pombe kwenda kuharibu mkutano ya watu wengine.
The inciters, the spoilers, those who are spoiling our children, they should never do that again.
Now, residents of Siaya County have thronged various health facilities to get their COVID-19 vaccine. This follows a directive by the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe that there will be no government service to persons not vaccinated.
The announcement by Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe that there will be no government services for those who are yet to get the COVID-19 jab by December has ignited a restless mood to the unvaccinated public. Siaya residents have thronged the various health facilities to get the jab. According to Joshua Ondiege, who serves as the immunization service coordinator, initially very few people turned up to be vaccinated, forcing them to initiate outreaches.
Right now, we have seen a number increasing. The number of people who have started coming for these services are increasing. So if they increase in the static sites where people were, the numbers were going down, we expect that the new sites that we are going to open, the number will equally come up, And we strongly believe if that trend continues, we will achieve the target.
He added that there has been countless myths and misconceptions about the jabs. The county has a target of 115,000 by the end of the year.
Now, the family of a 24-year-old man who allegedly committed suicide in a police cell in Kisii County has rejected a police report on the cause of death. David Ondaro Nyamwea, the deceased, had been arrested on Tuesday last week over theft of a motorbike and held at Nyatieko Police Station in Kitutu Chache South Sub-County.
David Ondaro Nyamwea was arrested on Tuesday last week and was being held at Nyatieko Police Station in Kitutu Chache South Sub-County. He was pronounced dead 6 days later after allegedly committing suicide. According to the family, the deceased was locked up for 6 days without being taken to court to be formally charged. His wife visited him severally until last Sunday evening when a member of the community policing picked her up, claiming her husband wanted to see her urgently. On arrival, she was told by a police officer that her husband had hanged himself using a belt. However, the deceased's wife said that her husband had left his belt at home when he was picked up by police.
Doreti kwa kijiji akikuja akaniambia Maria panda pikipiki tukaenda paka mbele Nyatieko. Vile tulifika Nyatieko alafu sasa tukaambiwa tufike Ondaro Michinyanga.
Ondaro's younger siblings said the police did not inform the family about their kin's death.
We are seeking justice. We want to know how somebody could be arrested on a Tuesday, booked in a cell, mpaka aje kufa Sunday. You know, you are supposed to be taken to court before the elapse of 24 hours.
They also claimed that their brother was booked at Nyatieko in a neighboring sub-county instead of Rioma Police Station where he was the suspect. They petitioned the authorities to investigate and unravel the cause of their kin's death.
Now, 5,000 families have been rendered homeless following an eviction to pave way for the construction of the Kibwezi-Kitui Highway. The families are now calling on the government to offer them an alternative settlement plan or compensate them.
The tussle that has since taken 5 years has left the affected families in distress and homeless.
Barabara imepita, lakini tukabaki na shida nyingi. Tumechukuliwa mashamba yetu, manyumba tumepomolewa na tukaambiwa tutalipwa. Na tumekaa muda mwingi tukiangalia tulipwe, hatujaona tukilipwa.
The families have been left to languish after the delay in their compensation.
We have suffered for 5 painful years, with some among us passing away due to depression and psychological stress caused by the ceaseless wait for the compensation money that we could have used to rebuild our shattered lives.
Wametuahidi kuwa watatulipa na wakutapatia awards. Kila mmoja mnaona hapa, sisi tunawakilisha watu 5,000 ambao ni wa barabara hii. Na tumeambiwa kila mmoja na barua ya kuwa atalipwa kiasi fulani. Na watu ambao wametuambia hivyo na watupatia hiyo makaratasi wamepotea.
The compensation was to be done immediately by the National Lands Commission but hasn't been done up to date. The residents appealed with the government to help them reconstruct their homes.
Over 10,000 Boda riders from Kirinyaga County will benefit from a road safety awareness training program sponsored by the National Transport and Safety Authority. The training is being conducted by the National Youth Service under a curriculum developed by the NTSA.
Speaking during the event, Christopher Wanjau, Director NTSA Motorcycle Licensing, said that many motorcycle owners do not possess a rider's license approved by NTSA.
Na tumekuja hapa kufanya mafunzo na kuhamasisha uendeshaji pikipiki, maneno ya usalama barabarani na kwamba wakuwe waangalifu, lakini tukasema ni muhimu wafanywe ile inaitwa refresher training kwa wale ambao pia wako na driving license. Halafu kwa wale ambao hawana pia watapewa mafunzo.
Hapa nchini tumekuwa na shida ya ajali nyingi sana na zinatokana na boda. na zinasababishwa na mambo ya kutojua mambo ya kuendesha ama kuzingatia mambo ya safety precautions. Kwa hivyo watapata mafundisho kupitia shule ya training ya NYS.
Joseph Kinyua, one of the beneficiaries of the training, said he looked forward to gaining defensive driving skills which would enable him to gain confidence on the road.
Ni furaha sana na tutaweza kujifunza hadi tuhitimu katika masomo haya ambayo tumeletewa bure. Kwa hivyo shukrani sana.
In Nakuru County, a team of South Africa philanthropist missionaries earmarked 1,200 boda operators for an economic and spiritual empowerment. Dr. Sami Gitonga says the initiative will also be rolled out in Mombasa, Kisumu and Nairobi by April next year to reach out to 6,000 of the 1.4 million boda operators who are struggling to make ends meet.
We have a burden of touching the lives of our people, and we have started a bikers church whereby we are dealing with those people who are doing borders.
Official figures indicated that boda operators rank in an estimated 219 billion Kenyan shillings a year, making the sector a critical plank in the country's economy.
Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has embarked on a corruption risk assessment exercise for the county government of Isiolo. Speaking at the county government headquarters during the launch of the exercise, EACC Deputy Director in charge of Central Kenya region, Charles Rasungu, said the commission's officials would interrogate county officials to examine how they conduct their functions.
Commission ama tume imefanya kazi, it has been partnering with county governments. Tunafanya kazi pamoja na county governments ili tuweke mikakati ya kuangalia mbele ndio to prevent issues of corruption na mambo ya unethical conduct.
Jana kwa sababu tunajua ni uwazi ndio inatakikana, wao wanafanya kazi yao na document ile wanataka tunawapatia ili watuchunguze. Na nataka kusema ya kwamba kila mtu afanye kazi yake na tunaheshimu kazi ya kila mtu ili uwazi ipatikane, faida kwa mwananchi ipatikane.
Over 240 primary and secondary schools in Mwingi Central Sub-County, Kitui County, are benefiting from a water catchment project courtesy of a local non-governmental organization. In partnership with Life Water Canada, the NGO will issue 10,000-litre water capacity tanks to 245 schools across Mwingi Central Sub-County. Kenya's Christ Mission to the World coordinator Francis Ogola said more than 100 schools have so far received the tanks and materials for constructing permanent hand-washing sinks. The NGO will also drill boreholes in the same schools as a long-term solution to water shortage.
We are targeting 245 schools, and once the phases of planting the water tanks is through, we are thinking of beginning to drill. Already there's a conversation going on between us and our funders from Canada that once we complete this phase, then the schools where we have put the tanks, we shall try to drill water in those schools so that during the dry season, which takes a longer period, then our tanks can be filled with water. Drought issue is a problem. We are meeting people who are going without food, let alone water, which is basic, a commodity. Children, you look at them, you know, they are suffering. We need people who even can bring food feeding programs in these communities. These classrooms need to be cemented. We need people to come in to support these people so that our future generation can be prepared to tackle the issues of tomorrow.
Now, a section of elderly persons from Ruiru in Kiambu County is pleading with the government to exempt them from paying for medical services. They are citing the high cost of living, which has left most of their lot without funds to meet their medical expenses.
As the registration process of vulnerable groups such as those with severe disabilities, orphans and the elderly continues, senior citizens in Ruiru, Kiambu County are appealing to the government for exemption. The elders who have opened bank accounts to facilitate access to the government cash transfer program also decried delayed payment of the monthly stipend under the Inua Jamii program.
Adikiswa kandi senisef todo hospitali tutakuwa tukishukuru sana kwa maana wengine ni wazee, hakuna watu waisaidia, una watoto na mtoto wa kuangalia. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri na tunashukuru sana. Inatusaidia, lakini nataka ikiongezwa ni mzuri na tukipata kila mwisho wa mwezi tutashukuru sana.
Sentiments echoed by Ruiru Member of Parliament Simon Kingara, who called on the government to increase the amount and frequency of the stipend.
Hapo bereni tuendelea kuteta tuone kama matibabu ya Wakongwe yataweza kuwa ya bure, kwa sababu Wakongwe si wengi sana. Uchumi ukinoga labda tutaelekea mwelekeo huu.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Zainab Said.
A section of casual workers attached to various supermarkets in Kitale have petitioned the National Assembly to address alleged poor working conditions that they say they are being subjected to. The employees who presented the petition to Saboti MP Caleb Amisi claimed that their employers treat them inhumanely, with some of them being discriminated upon in remuneration and appraisals. They further said that the employers have devised ways of evading statutory deductions on their salaries, which is paid to them hand to hand to avoid being monitored. Led by Simon Andala, the officials threatened to go to court to seek redress as they accuse officials from the Ministry of Labour in Trans Nzoia County of frustrating their efforts to get justice.
Watu wetu hawana fedha za kuenda kotini ili kutoa malalamishi yetu, ili kutoa malalamishi hao ama kusimamia kesi zao. Hawana uwezo wa kuhaya lawyer, maana hawana pesa. Wanalipwa mishahara kwa mikono. Mtu ukilipwa mshahara kwa mkono, hauna vile utaweza ku access loan kwa any bank.
So tunaomba wakati huu mheshimiwa awasilishe matakwa ya mfanyikazi wa Trans Nzoia ama wafanyikazi ambao wanafanya kazi katika haya maduka nchi nzima. Tuwe na policies ambazo zitasaidia Mkenya.
I'm taking a proposal to Parliament to review the Employment Act. How do we cater for casual laborers?
We now take a quick break. Remember, you can interact with us throughout this bulletin. On Twitter, we are at KBC Channel 1. My personal Twitter handle is at Betty Kiptum. On Facebook, we are at KBC Channel 1 News. Do stay with us. When we come back, more news.
To press charges against Victoriano for suspicion of involvement in the murder of Vicente.
I want to talk to you because I want you all to know the whole truth.
I want you to tell me now where my brother is.
Please tell me that you're okay, my dear.
You're going to need to make a decision. Is it your family or Diana?
You are the same as your sister. You're as much of a traitor as she is.
What?
This is all so painful, Nanny. To learn that she's not our mother.
You marry Diana? Then you put this in your head, that I won't live.
Ni sauti ya mwaliko wa kituo chetu cha Kisomali Iftin FM ikipiga mbizi na njaramba kukutana na mashabiki katika road show babu kubwa hapa jijini Nairobi tarehe 27 mwezi huu. Msafara utaanza katikati ya jiji la Nairobi kuelekea South C, South B, maeneo ya Eastlands kama vile Komarok, Donholm, Fedha, Isili, na kuregea katikati ya jiji la Nairobi. Jitokeza tarehe 27 mwezi huu kutane ana kwa ana na watangazaji wa 15 FM. Vichekesho na mahanja mtele vitateremka kwa mpigo re.
Hal eber hal dibi sagal 15 FM ilayska umada.
Somebody's gonna get in line. Stay with me, baby. If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? You'd come over and you'd stay the night. Drinking sweet, everybody wanna feel like it. Long time on a DJ in a dance, a long time on a chant in a dance. So we think stay, so we think stay down. So we think stay, so we think stay down. So the thing set, so the thing set. I saw the thing set. Shut up them out, we not fear them. Bang, boom, bang, boom, bang, boom, bang, fear them.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Thanks for staying with us. You are watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Now in business, Kenya Pipeline Company incurred a 92% loss in revenue on jet fuel after the government imposed a lockdown last year to contain the spread of COVID-19, which resulted in suspension of passenger flights. Demand for jet fuel at Kenya Pipeline Company's Embakasi Depot plunged from a high of 2.5 million litres daily to as low as 200,000 litres. Despite resumption of flight passenger services by most airlines, demand for jet fuel in Kenya is yet to hit pre-pandemic levels.
The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic took a heavy toll on the aviation industry, with the cancellation of commercial passenger flights after several countries, including Kenya, restricted travel. In Kenya, the government announced cessation of movement by air, land or water in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kilifi and Kwale. Suppliers of auxiliary products in the aviation industry, such as fuel, bore the brunt of the pandemic.
The pandemic came with a lockdown and suspension of air travel. So the delivery of fuels, jet and fuel, came down from the average that I've mentioned, 2.5 million litres, to 200,000 per day.
At the Kenya Pipeline Company's Embakasi Depot, which supplies the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport with jet fuels, deliveries dropped by 92% to cater only for essential services.
We know that the 200,000 per day could have been just for the local consumption. That is the security forces aircrafts.
It took close to 1.5 years before commercial passenger flights fully resumed, courtesy of concerted efforts to contain the pandemic. But even then, demand for jet fuel is yet to return to pre-COVID levels.
Has appointed global engineering and construction firm Stekol Corporation to undertake infrastructural development projects worth over 3.5 billion shillings. The project involves construction of tarmac roads and footpaths, among others, and is expected to be complete in a year.
The city is Kenya's first operational special economic zone, where companies enjoy low corporate taxes, zero-rated VAT, and import duty exemptions, among other benefits. According to the newly signed agreement between Tatu City and the firm, Stekol will undertake the construction of 6 kilometers of tarmac roads, 6 kilometers of footpaths, a 5-kilometer underground stormwater conduit network and water supply pipeline, 2.7 kilometers of sewer lines, hundreds of street lights, 12 kilometers of fiber optic cabling and yards of 11 kV medium voltage underground power lines. According to Samuel Gadhukia, head of construction and delivery at Tatu City, the corporation will be required to complete the infrastructural projects in 12 months.
We've already delivered that to almost 440 developments. We've connected them with all utility services, water, sewer, power, telecom, and we are just about to roll out another 6 to 7 kilometers of road right here.
Steckles says the project endeavors to put up a new city free from the Nairobi congestion, with all conveniences and business desires in one location.
Quite confident to implement these two contracts on time with good quality.
There's almost a dozen projects so far. These are road contracts, and it's water, waste, power, really everything that is needed in terms of the civil infrastructure at Tatu City.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
Now, Kimberly Clark, the manufacturer of Huggies diapers, has sealed a 5 billion shillings deal with local manufacturer Sai Pharmaceuticals to start producing the diapers in Kenya. The deal, that involves construction of a new factory in Thika, is expected to create over 100 direct jobs as the new company banks on competitive pricing to boost sales in the East African market.
Manufacturing is one of the big four agenda, with the government keen on growing the contribution of manufacturing to the economy from 9% in 2018 to 15% by 2022. Pharmaceuticals, the Gene Division and Kimberly Clark diaper manufacturer have entered into a partnership to make Huggies in Kenya for distribution across East Africa.
That the global supply chain has come to almost a halt due to COVID, we have to partner with companies like Huggies to make sure that such brands are also available in the African market. So we have gotten into this contract manufacturing agreement with Kimberly Clark.
Speaking during a ceremony to announce the investment, Industrialization CAS David Osiani said the deal is an endorsement of Kenya as a key investment destination.
It also just goes to show that contract manufacturing may be the future of the world if we are to deal with the logistical issues that were experienced during COVID-19. Remember that things like Huggies, which have been manufactured outside Kenya for long, could not even make their way into the country during the pandemic. And so this resolves a very major problem in case, and God forbid that we would experience another pandemic or problem. But should we have a challenge, then we have a local solution.
Kimberly Clark Business Development hopes that the local manufacturing would help it triple its market share in East Africa in the next 3 years.
What Kimberly Clark is really serve and give our consumers the best of quality products at an affordable price. So coming here is going to enable us to be more strategic and agile.
We're very excited for the Kenyan consumer because now finally they'll be able to get a world-class product made locally in Kenya at a price they can afford.
The investment is expected to create over jobs and thousands of other indirect jobs. Ruth Wamboi for Lunchtime News.
And digital innovators are being challenged to provide micro-retailers with technological solutions that empower them in distribution of goods and services. Players say there is growing demand for micro-retailers who want to adopt online platforms to access credit, suppliers and arrange inventories.
In Kenya, micro-retailers supply nearly 80% of all consumer goods sold to low-income communities. However, challenges of low offtake and risk of expiry of goods are key challenges that the small businesses face.
What did I sell? How much did I make? How much balance is remaining in my store? That kind of visibility does not happen in the shop. And this is why with this limited digital penetration, we feel is a very critical gap that hinders the shop owners from growing.
About 10% of small businesses have the requisite business skills, hence the need for technological solutions to help them navigate the challenges.
Partnering up with these organizations to really make sure that we
bring the sustainability and bring the community aspects to, and so everything around enterprise development, supporting young entrepreneurs, supporting them in making their businesses, turning it around basically.
It is believed that with technological capacity building initiatives can help improve business skills and increase a shopkeeper's chances of business survival through shop management practices, supply chain management, financial management and investment opportunities.
One-on-one coaching where we go to the shops and show them, sometimes even demonstrate what it means to do proper merchandising practices so that the customers can be able to interact with the products better, improve their shop visibility, improve their shop hygiene, improve even the lighting of the shops, basic things that really transform how the shop aesthetic looks like.
Oliver, you're ready? And maybe as he sets up, maybe we can train our eyes on the screen.
In sports news, world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge has been nominated for the Male World Athlete of the Year after he defended his title in the Tokyo Olympic Games. Kipchoge has been mentioned among 5 finalists who will be looking to bag the award during the World Athletics Gala slated for 1st of December this year, and which also will be done virtually. Kipchoge, who's won the award twice, 2 times clocked 2 hours, 8 minutes and 38 seconds. Other athletes nominated include Olympic 5,000 meter champion Joshua Cheptegei of Uganda, Olympic and Diamond League shot put champion Ryan Krauser from United States, Olympic 400 meter hurdles champion Karsten Warholm from Norway, and Sweden's Olympic pole vault winner Mondo Duplantis. A thrilling and electric atmosphere will be expected in tonight's final of the FIBA Zone 5 Championship when 2 Kenyan sides, KPA and Equity Hawk, clash in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The 2 teams continued their dominance in the campaign after claiming comfortable wins against Gladiators of Rwanda and DB Lionesses of Tanzania last night. Equity Hawks, who have been impressive throughout the campaign, beat hosts DB Lionesses 76-36, while KPA beat Gladiators 83-40. The 2 Kenyan sides will meet tonight in the final to determine the Zone 5 champions. Nairobi businessman Michael Wambugu has challenged stakeholders in the Ministry of Sports in the counties to consider allocating funds from Sports Kitty to the youth and invest in them. Wambugu was speaking during Othaya sub-county final games that were held at Othaya Stadium, Nyeri County, with an aim of inspiring the youth through sports. 3 sporting activities were held, including football, handball and volleyball.
First and foremost is only that we don't account our resources properly. I know very well there is every county level, constituency level, there is sport kitty, and that money is supposed to go to the sport. But we are not supposed to be giving those sport kitty to old people. It is supposed to be managed by the youth so that it go fully to support the sport. Sport is a very big investment. Once you invest in sport, it is a very, very big investment.
And Johan Rosell grabbed the WRC3 World title with a monumental charge through the last stage of Forum 8 ACI Rally Monza. Rosell started the winner-takes-all finale